It's Hollie's Hotspurs, welcome back. Talking Tottenham every week, no better place to be sat. If it's a win, lose, draw, we'll be here for a chat. Best believe we tackle topics like Romero in the back. Young Min Son, what can go wrong when he's on form? It's a dream come true, so sit back, relax and vibe with us. Special guests every time here to discuss. Bring your passion, come along for the ride, and don't forget to...
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hollie's Hotspurs Live. I'm smiling, but I don't think I will be in a couple of moments because obviously we've got to dissect that loss against Everton yesterday, 3-2 in my words. We need a therapy session and a bit of a run, I think, to be honest with you. But with me tonight to do so, I'm joined by two fabulous guests. So Crackers, it's amazing to have you back on the show. How are you, my friend?
Oh, well, you know, I'm a Spurs fan. But apart from that, Hollie, evening everyone, Christina and everyone tuning in, listening in. I'm all well. The sun came up today and dinner got put on the table. So that's a bonus. That's a start. That's where we need to be. So it's just diving back into Spurs where it just all seems to go wrong at the moment. Oh, it's wrong. Anyway, you'll never hear me moan about it, Hollie.
It's all good, man. I mean, it is Blue Monday as well, Christina, isn't it? So how are you, my friend? It's great to have you back on.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? I feel like I'm getting used to this now, and I'm just ready for relegation now. I'm ready for those extra games in the Championship, so bring it on. Here we go.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good at the moment. Before we jump into it, I want to say a big thank you to the Table Swap that sponsor the show. If you're a big Pokemon fan like me, the new Pokemon set are out and they are selling them at the moment, so go check them out. But without further ado, let's crack on with what we're really here for. And obviously, Crackers, that is to try and dissect this 3-2 loss to Everton. Now, it was horrific. It's obviously our 12th defeat of the season, and we're currently sat 15th. So what did you make of the game?
It was just abject, wasn't it? It was absolutely abject. I mean, there was some. I tuned into Last Word on Spurs last night. Sorry to mention rival podcasts, but there was talking about that Ange doesn't really throw players under the bus, but yesterday he absolutely did. He's got poor Archie Gray. You know, a lad that I've got shoes. I think I've got a pair of pants older than Archie Gray. And there's an enduring image for you, Christina. Enjoy your dinner. I mean, come on. He's playing him out of position at centre back, and then he plays him in a free at centre back. I mean, how much more is he going to heap on this boy's shoulders? He's thrown him under the bus tactically yesterday, just trying to play him in a free. I mean, I'm surprised today they haven't shipped him off to the Middle East to try and, like, you know, envoy peace talks over there. Just how much more pressure? It's for everything that's gone on yesterday and this season. I have to say to Archie Gray, well done, young man, because I don't care if, like, the Lord Glenn Hoddle comes back for the rest of this season, my favourite ever Spurs player, and wins us every game from here on in. Archie Gray will still be my player of the season for what he's tried to do and stepped up and done. It's, you know, it's absolutely remarkable. So, I mean, as much as we're going to give a fair few characters in this nefarious play at the moment, this Shakespearean tragedy, a bit of a kick in, Archie Gray, step aside, you know, just stay in the green room, your dressing room in this theatre of horrors, because this doesn't include you. There's one or two of them youngsters that can be really, really proud of themselves for their efforts this season so far. But yesterday was just absolutely abject. We were all over the place. We looked devoid of ideas, of any guile, of anything. We just looked bereft. Absolutely. We played yesterday like the club seems to be generally at the moment. Rudderless, clueless, just moribund, devoid of anything. It was a terrible, terrible display from 11 players that were just hobbled together because of everybody in the treatment room at the moment. It was horrible. Even the 2-goal rally in the second half was more born out of Everton shitting their pants because they needed that win and just trying to protect it rather than us like making something of it. I can't even give us the credit for that. It was awful, Hollie, awful.
It really was, and I think as well to be 3-0 down at half time, Christina. I don't know about you, but I was doing my pieces walking around my office. Like, it was just mad, wasn't it?
I literally started cleaning my room out. That's do you know what? Since these games, my room has been immaculate. I've cleared out a lot of stuff because that's what I've been doing. As soon as I start to see us playing, I'm like, nah, this performance is not going to do me any well. I might as well do something that is going to make me feel better. But as Ricky, as Crackers, apologies.
That's fine.
I'll take that as a compliment. Fine looking man.
Oh dear. So
you was talking about Ricky Martin, right? Wasn't you?
Oh, of course I was. Always on the pod with him, talking about Tottenham. But no, yeah, it was absolutely terrible, guys. Absolutely terrible. Like Cracker said, we just look exhausted. We look clueless. We just, to be honest, we look depressed as well. It's generally how I feel as well right now watching them. But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm so sick of it now that I feel a bit immune to it. And I'm just so fed up basically of how this club is run now. And I've got to be honest with it. I've been honest with it on Last Word as well. Sorry to mention them as well, but I have. I just feel actually quite sorry for our players at the moment. I didn't like the fact that we were getting abuse at the moment as well. Sonny, I generally feel really sorry for him because for me, Sonny's position right now, he basically has been like a cover-up replacement, shall I say, after Harry Kane. And now with Ange come in, it's clear that the way that this style of ball, he can't keep up with it, Sonny. It is too intense. In fact, this whole Ange ball is actually just too intense for Premier League itself. You've got attacking up here and then you've got defending down here. With Ange, he just needs to find that right balance just to get it because you cannot do it in Premier League. And I have been saying this, I've been Ange in all this time. And to be honest, I still am. I actually feel sorry for the guy. But he needs to find a way to balance it out. He does. He really, really does because it's unfair for these players. It's why we're getting all these injuries as well. With Sonny, Harry Kane, for example, the thing is, he was a shield all that time for Daniel Levy, in my opinion. He was basically covering up the cracks. He was getting all those late goals. He had the leadership on the pitch and he was getting all those assists as well, along with Sonny. And now he's gone. We didn't replace him. Our best ever player that we saw, for me, that I ever saw in a Tottenham shirt. And we replaced him. I feel like for the owners, they felt Sonny's going to be that replacement now. And it's just clear that he can't keep up with it because this whole Ange ball, the whole system of this style of play, it just doesn't fit in. And I really feel for the guy because obviously he was getting abused yesterday. I just don't think he deserves it at all. You need to back the manager, but at the same time, I still don't know if it is even going to work. I don't know, but you still need to back the manager no matter what. You need to have that communication. I just don't understand how other fans can't see that because for me, if you're Ange in, you're moaning about backing the manager. If you're Ange out, you're moaning why has he not got rid of Ange in the first place? It all leads to one person, and that person is Daniel Levy. And that's where my anger and frustration is going right now. So, yeah, I feel quite sad as a Tottenham fan at the moment. But at the same time, if we do get relegated, I actually kind of feel like they deserve it. Not so much the players, but the actual club itself. That's how I feel. And yeah, I could really go on about it. But yeah, I'm going to allow Crackers to now speak.
No, it's fine. I think you make some valid points, and I think that's the most frustrating thing. As in, again, like me, I've been Ange in from the start. I always will be until he's gone. But Crackers, for me, yesterday, playing that three at the back, I know you've mentioned it already, whacking Archie Gray in there, but then to carry on playing a back three when it clearly wasn't working was the thing that frustrated me more. And like Christina said, you need to be able to adapt. And I know I've said if your plan A is perfect, fine, cool, roll with it. But it hasn't been because of these injuries, etc., etc. He needs to change it slightly. So for me, that kind of had me questioning, is Ange the right man for the job? Where do you kind of sit with it at the moment, Crackers?
I've been very iffy 50-50 with Ange for quite a while now. Even when he has a full fit squad, there's something I can't quite take to with him, both almost as a person and the way he conducts himself in the sort of football spotlight and his football as well. But Christina makes a good point. Look, even if I don't think he's the right man for the job, at least nail your colours to the mast and give that man every chance and every opportunity and the players he needs, even if that does lead to failure, because you can then at least walk away and go, well, we gave you everything that you needed and wanted within reason, and you failed. I don't think his style of football is sustainable in the Premier League, even if you gave him the Man City squad and some. I think it's just burns through players way too much, given the amount of football that they have to play. You'd have to just give him such a depth and quality of squad to play that football. It's almost impossible. It certainly is at Tottenham. So I just don't think he's the right man for the job. I don't like the way he goes at every reporter that asks him a perfectly reasonable question. There's just lots of traits I don't much like. But having said that, he hasn't been given enough to actually, we've got 2 weeks left of this window now, all bar a day or so, and still one goalkeeper's come through the door. It's madness. It's actual madness. It shows you the levels that these people upstairs are stooping to. They've got no care for the football as long as the tills are ringing. These are money people. They care about money. And if that bottom line isn't affected, then they'll just carry on. They'll plough on with this current way that they're doing things. So they're asking literally a one-legged man to go into ass-kicking competitions. They really are. It's just not going to work. But look, I believe that there's managers out there better suited to this current business model that the club is run under. Of course, we all want ENIC to go or ENIC to change, preferably to go, to be honest. But you've got to have the next lunatic coming along with 5 billion quid to do that. Now, last time I checked, I didn't have 5 billion quid down the back of the sofa, and I don't think there's many that do. So you've got that to contend with. But in the meantime, there's a football club to be run, a squad of players, and a season to be played out. So as much as we want them gone, you've then got to hope for the best within a bad situation. We need a manager that can be adaptable, that can, in tactics, somebody that can get the best out of the quality of player that we bring in. Not a Pochettino, because he's in another job now, but a Pochettino type. Even, dare I say, like a Harry Redknapp type. We need somebody that can get these players that are maybe a 7, 8 out of 10 to start pushing themselves to be a 9 and a 10 out of 10, to really push themselves. I just don't think Ange is that man. And in amongst all of this, I think people like Lang and Munn need a little bit of spotlight on them as well, that seem to really fly under the radar in a lot of these pods and shows that are done. They've gone away and identified Postecoglou as a Tottenham manager, and they don't seem to have looked at the type of manager he is and sat back and thought to themselves, okay, he has a track record of like really burning through players. He done it at Celtic, these hamstring injuries, these intensity injuries, because he plays players so much. And then Munn and Lang have not sort of come away and gone to themselves, is Enoch, Tottenham under Enoch, the type of club that is going to buy him the type of player and an excess of players to allow him to do this? They just haven't. It's a threadbare squad that's just not up to the task of what he demands. So, there's another pair that really need looking at. It just seems, apart from the fans, this club at the moment is just a mishmash and just like a horrible chamber of horrors of the way it's run. There's a board that doesn't seem to pay much mind to the football side of things. That they just seem distracted by this, that, and everything else in their entertainment's empire. A manager that just doesn't seem to be able to get going and just doesn't seem to be, on the face of it, he seems a Tottenham manager, but he's got a very, very, I don't know, strange way of playing and managing a team. You've got a captain in Sonny, who I did feel very sorry for yesterday, because he does care, but he needs a break. He needs a rest. He's not getting that rest. And I don't think his character is captain material either. He just doesn't seem the captain type. But, he's bums on seats with punters that are coming in and spending a lot of money from overseas. No problem at all with that type of fan coming. The whole of the Premier League has fans from overseas. It's a worldwide huge league now. Of course, you're going to get that. But it seems that he's there as captain because it would just mean even more bums on seats and even more ringing of the tills in the club shop. So at the moment, there's just no cohesion, all the wheels turning in the same direction, no focus on the football. It's a mess. It really is a mess at the moment. So you just kind of hope that if they do get rid of Postecoglou, somebody can come in, circle the wagons just around the squad, around the team, and tell the players, let the clowns run the circus outside of us, and we'll get on with the business of football. So it's just a mess, a real mess at the moment.
It really is. And I think that's the thing as well. I think obviously our biggest pet peeve was sacking managers, Christina, under Levy. But now it's almost like, I feel like he's not sacking him because he knows that's going to be the thing. You've sacked another manager. But again, it comes down to, at the moment, we could potentially be in relegation kind of battle if games like this keep carrying on.
I mean, literally, that's what I think. I don't believe he's going to sack him just yet. And I think if he does now, he knows that he's going to have a hell of a lot of heat from the fans, because everybody will know that he is in the wrong. And I think that's what he's doing. This is what I hate about this club. We bring in people and he just hides behind all these characters. Ange, Kane, even Sonny, Pochettino, he does all of that in order for people to not blame him. And I think it's just time that we all woke up from this and realised, actually, he's done a lot of damage to this club. As much as he's built us this amazing, incredible stadium that we're supposedly meant to be winning trophies, and all these glorious days at Tottenham Hotspur meant to be a huge change, whatever. We've just seen misery. And it's just absolutely ridiculous with how long and how much patience our fans have got. And it's just absolutely draining right now. And then they're banging on about building a blooming hotel behind the stadium. Excuse me, what about building the actual team itself? What is going on here? And like you guys said, we're into 2 weeks away. we've only got one youngster, a goalkeeper, who by the way, he's been brilliant. But again, you're bringing in these young people who have not got that much experience, and you're throwing them into the depths, literally into the depths of hell. And the amount of pressure that these young guys, and they are the thing is, they are the future as well. So I am really glad that we are getting these in, but at the same time, you need to be bringing in experienced players in order to help guide these other players, these youngsters out, for them to be successful just like them. And it's just, Archie Gray, I think, has been absolutely amazing. He was the only one I felt that was bringing anything yesterday. He was trying. I think Jed Spence deserves credit. I think Lucas Bergwell as well. The amount of strength that he's now bringing in, it's great to see it. But it is not enough. It is not enough. That is it. So we just need to be back in. We need a bunch of players to be coming in, experienced ones. We need a good signing out this time. But I just can't. It's not going to happen. We're going to be having this conversation in 2 years' time when a new manager comes in. And we're literally going to be having this same discussion. It is the Tottenham cycle again and again and again. I'm just getting a bit fed up with it, because when are we ever going to see something like good? The last time it was under Pochettino. And I felt like that whole time, I don't know if it was a lot of luck for Poch in those days. I don't know. But even then, we got to the final, and then afterwards, it just came slamming down on us because we didn't do absolutely nothing. We just held on to that final. It was like, there you go. That's basically your trophy, guys. Enjoy it, because we're not going to do anything about it. And we haven't even been able to think, you know what? Let's try and go for the win next time. Let's go for the win next season. We didn't do any of that. The club just don't care. They do not care about the fans, especially. So, yeah, sorry. It's just all coming down on me now.
No, it's fair. And that's the thing. I think we all kind of feel the same. I think we've got to that point where we've just had enough. And you are right. In 2 years' time, we probably will be having the same conversation. And the fact that we're so far into the transfer window. And part of me thinks if Vicario didn't get an injury, would we have gone and got Kinsky? That's another thing. I think
exactly. It's all these little things, all these little scenarios. Even though you think, oh, that's actually quite good, but no, they're doing it for a reason, just to shut us up for a few minutes. That is literally it. But yeah, I completely agree. It's absolutely frustrating to be a Tottenham fan right now, and I really do feel for all those fans that have travelled up, in the away games, because honestly, huge credit to be wanting to watch something so horrific like that, and then going home feeling like, an absolute failure. So, yeah.
It's the money as well, and like we say, it's not cheap supporting this club, and the kind of thing we get back is another loss or a half-hearted performance. And Crackers, I know it's not the same for all the players. I know we've mentioned Spence. I know we've mentioned obviously the likes of Archie Gray, but there's one player as well. Although he's senior, I feel like Maddison at times. I think I've had this discussion before in terms of he's got to be up for the game to be able to do something. And in this moment, Crackers, he decided to actually put Maddison in and about there. And for you, is it, again, it falls down to those senior players to actually be like, look, guys, we're a football club. We need to go out there and try and get these wins, because at the moment, I don't see any of those senior players really doing that as much. I know we mentioned Sonny, but apart from that, what do you kind of put that down to?
Well, I think it's just current confidence, mood. No player in a team is an island as such. So if you're a goalkeeper, you need a decent back four in front of you. A midfield needs a back four to be finding them with a pass, and then the midfielders need to be finding a striker. So, it's almost like 11 or 10 outfield bricklayers, but you do need a hod carrier. You need people to bring you the bricks to be able to build. So it's just where we're short at the back, that kind of affects the ball coming into midfield. The midfield ditto, then has some problems supplying to the strikers. You take Maddison, for example. I mean, Ange clearly doesn't fancy him very much. He keeps benching him. Even when he's fit, that he's benched and he's left out. So there's obviously something's awry there between the relationship between Maddison and Ange, and then he throws him on. But it's like any job, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. If your boss doesn't much fancy you and doesn't really like your work, you're not going to go into work and give them your all, are you? You're just not going. You're not going to go and run through brick walls for them. So I think there's those in the team that are in that scenario. Others, are struggling because if you're just really putting it in on your own, like Kulu, but there's only so much Kulu can do. Kulu will turn out and play for anybody. He just looks like one of those footballers. If you said to Kulu, go in goal, and he'd go, okay. And he'd do it. And even if he doesn't quite much like the boss, he'd just go and do it because that's him. He does it for him. But there's other players that don't, they need that arm around their shoulder. And some of them are just not up to it. They're just a bit brainless. I mean, Basuma, what has happened to that boy? He came from Brighton and looked really good. He seems to have come to us and he's been off of it. He's had very few decent games. His attitude seems off. He's had some disciplinary issues. I'll leave that there with off-field stuff. It's just I don't know. This team desperately needs a couple of like real Kulu types coming in their position. We need a number 6. We need another Kulu there. Just somebody that's going to come in and give you something week in, week out, and just put themselves on the line for it. There's no leaders in that team. I can't, sometimes when I do my nights, I do a night with Graham Roberts or Paul Miller or Stevie Perryman, and they'll tell stories of getting to half time, being 1-0 down, 2-1 down or something at home, and Keith Birkinshaw just wouldn't go in the dressing room. He couldn't get in the dressing room because they would be knocking 7 bells of shit out of each other. Now, I know the game's moved on from there and we're a little bit more of a touchy-feely society now and these things don't happen, but there just doesn't seem to be like that sort of ranting and raving and really digging each other out at half time. I may be wrong. If it is, maybe if they do, maybe they need to do a little bit more of it. They don't seem to just go, boys, come on, like what? Wake up. Do you know, there doesn't seem to be that vibe amongst them. It's like 2-1 down. Oh, blimey. Like, oh, hey ho, my new Louis Vuitton wash bag comes tomorrow. So, it's all great. There just seems to be that vibe, there's just not a good collective spirit around the camp. There's no will to win, but make no mistake, this comes right from the very top because that's not the vibe and that's not the ethos of the board. So that just permeates down through the club. It's Daniel Levy needs to be the tide, doesn't he? He needs to be the tide. And when the tide rises, all the boats come up with it. He sets that. He should set a winning mentality for the football club. Not the business, not the entertainments, not Beyonce on ice in a monster truck or whatever else is coming to you this summer. He needs to just be wanting everything for the football club, which goes through to the directors, the director of football, the manager, the players, everybody. So it's just this, couldn't care less, so why should anybody else from the very top? But yeah, senior players, they're not stepping up really. There's nobody really grabbing hold of this, and that's what it desperately needs. How we get it, I don't know. Is that other manager or Ange himself that sort of gets the team back and builds that. But at the moment, we are bereft of it, and badly bereft of it.
No, 100%. And like you said, I'm not saying that the players have a free pass in showing why they don't have any character, so Stephen said, but it's almost like you said, because it stems from the top, it's kind of filtering down. They're like, it's right, my job's safe, it's fine. If we lose this week, don't matter. We'll go again next week. And I think that's just the running theme at the moment. And I know I hate picking out on players, but I think in this game in particular, Christina, that there's probably one player that I don't think is up to the standard at the moment, and that's probably Radu Dragusin, because I think there was several moments in that game where I think the first one he decided to backtrack rather than closing down his man. Yes, I know we were playing in a back three, so yeah, it can be hard for him, but at times, Christina, I feel like he just isn't the man for the job, sadly.
You think you could add Pedro Porro to that as well, who I generally... I feel like I loved right at the beginning, but now I just feel like same with Dragusin. I thought these guys showed a lot of potential at the beginning, and then it's just gone drastically. Like it's just fallen down. But again, I don't know if that is due to because of the intensity of how we're playing. I don't know if it's because of that. And I think that this is what frustrates me with Ange in general. But then again, it's like, well, we need to have better players at our backs, because if we're going to be someone's just said no, that can't be right.
No.
And just been sacked now. That can't be right. Sorry. But no, it's just that's what I mean. It's just this argument of backing him, or it's the way that he's playing. It's that, and this is what annoys me. All these players that I feel like we've come in, like, I mean, at the start of Ange's season, we were playing brilliantly. Everyone was just like, wow, attacking football, finally, we're actually getting like wins. We were on top of the league at one point. Like, what the hell? And now it's just come crashing down. And I just don't understand why Ange has not fixed this issue, though. There's been so many lessons throughout this season, especially, but even towards the end of last season, why has he not gone out and amended and changed things? Stop sticking to one thing at a time. I know a lot of big managers, they do have only one plan. But the thing is, the difference, they are able to get the players that they want. At this club, you do not have that. You do not have that choice. You don't even have the control, let's be real. But with that, I don't want to sit here criticising the players, because I don't actually think they're that as bad as we all say. I just don't think that this style of play is getting the best out of them. And I think it's just absolutely knackering the guys. Majority are all injured now. We've got Solanke, who I personally think is one of the best signings that we've had so far, already injured. And it's already had such a huge impact. Like yesterday, if we had him, I generally feel like we may have just even got a draw. But it's having such a huge impact now, this style of play. And I hate saying this because I've been Ange in all the time. I still am. Don't get me wrong. But something has to be changed if he really wants to stick to this job to the end of this season. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but it really needs to change at the moment. And I just don't want the frustration from the fans going towards the players. That's what I fear, because I don't think that should be happening at all. I know that I feel with Maddison at the moment as well. I know he's been playing really poorly at the moment, but for me, watching him interviews at the moment, there just feels like there's something personal going on with him. I'm not 100% sure if that is right, but he just looks really fed up. I don't know if it's to do with the relationship with the manager. I don't know, but there's just something not quite good about him, and it's such a shame because, when we bought him, it was creativity, which is what we lacked so much in midfield, and we still obviously do. He brought out so much, and I just always remember that Arsenal game away. He was absolutely brilliant, and you can see what he does do, but there's just no consistency. There's no consistency, and that is such a huge, huge issue with Tottenham at the moment. You go on to winning against these huge teams, and then you're losing to Everton. Like, we can't be doing this. I don't know how long it's going to drag on for Dragusin, but yeah. I just hope now, I just hope the fans don't take out their anger too much on the players. That's just a worry, because I hate that, and I hated it to see it with Sonny yesterday. I honestly could have just like run on the pitch and given him a hug. But I do think he's got a hell of a lot of pressure though, especially being the captain as well. There's got to be a change. There's got to be a change in leadership, I'm afraid. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is just a massive mess. And that's the thing, like, it's fine to criticise players. It's just when it goes to that whole nother level that doesn't need to exist, I think is the problem. But obviously, there was a little bit of positive to sprinkle in their crackers, because obviously Mikey Moore did come on in the Everton game. He did manage to get 2 assists. And I suppose that's only really the shining light you could probably put on it. I mean, it did take a while for him to actually get on the pitch. But what was your kind of impact with Mikey Moore coming in? Or is it, again, that sense of only playing at these times because we have to? Do you want to see more of him? What was kind of the deal?
Well, with players like Mikey Moore, Archie Gray, and even Bergvall, you can kind of group these youngsters together, and a sort of serious football club, because sometimes I just don't think we are, to be honest. With players like that, you should be dipping them in at times. If you're 2-3-0 up, you put them on for the last 15 minutes, and you put them alongside seasoned senior pros, and you feel your way through in games. I mean, Archie Gray, he should really be at the moment playing in some of the lower early round cup games, coming on, as I said, for the sort of last 15-20 minutes, and replacing somebody of like a Declan Rice ilk, a club that's the 8th richest in the world and has the biggest gap between what it pays out in wages to its players and what it earns in profit. At the top 20, it has the biggest gap. There is scope galore to bring in players up the pay scale that we offer, and the transfers. So this is where a Mikey Moore should be, or an Archie Gray, is this gradual bringing in and dipping out, and not sort of killing their confidence. I mean, there is an argument to say that putting on a Mikey Moore and then giving them a bit more in these games, and it may well come that it's like no other option because of yet further injuries, then if they chew it up and spit it out and a bit of adversity going forward, it will actually knock them into shape earlier than they would be. And they've actually, taken it on the chin, dealt with it, and actually excelled and thrived. But if I was a young go-getting 18-year-old midfielder such as Archie Gray, and I've sort of seen that I can and do it with this amount of pressure, I'd probably be looking around and going, well, if I can do that here, and it's a bit, too Bob run, to be honest, but maybe if I speak to my agent, I may get a move to X. This is the problem you've got. So, yeah, it's just Mikey Moore came on, and he was great. He was great. He's affected the game. A couple of really good assists. Kulu's goal was actually was fantastic. It was sublime little chip. So, but this has been the problem with Spurs. It's been wonderful in flashes, in moments, in odd games, just here, just there, and you'll get a full team back that can offer you that, a starting 11, but because of the way that we train and play, all of a sudden that 11 loses to a hamstring or a strain or just a bad luck injury. So you already get enough bad luck injuries and just, course of a season injuries without actually causing them, through your own volition of overtraining and overstretching people with your tactics. So yeah, he done well. He done really well. As Christina said earlier, there's some fantastic youngsters coming through here. really, really good. And it's a fantastic policy. We're finding some good youngsters with some good talent, but they're all 18. They're all 3-4 years off of really being like solid week in, week out first teamers. We've got to add some ready to go right now, right here, quality in a few key positions to really start being able to do something. And we're just not getting it. We are just not going to get it. 24, 25 years of this mob teaches us we are not getting those types of player. I mean, we did get Solanke, and he's great, brilliant. I love him. I love his work rate. I love his attitude. He's another Kulu, you know. He will give you everything week in, week out. But then go and get another Solanke in the number 6 role. Go and find another Solanke in the left back role. Go and find another Solanke in central defence as well. You know, there should be another at least 4 Solankes and Kulus throughout this team, and then a couple spare to bring on when you haven't got A and B and C and D Kulu and Solanke. You know, this is what a club that's 8th richest in the world should have. It's what we deserve. If you're asking somebody to pay that amount of money for a ticket and a season ticket, this is what you should be demanding. You know, it's the old restaurant analogy again, isn't it? If you walk into a restaurant and you give them tomahawk steak money, if they bring in you fried spam, you've got to be going to see calling the maitre d' over and saying, mate, what's this? It's just, this is not good enough. So, but you get the feeling upstairs, they're like, what do these people want? Like, you know, how dare you want these players for the money you're paying? Have you not seen this hotel we're trying to be? But you've got a Formula One track. I mean, come on. What do you want? Go and take the Skywalk and cool down, or have a walk around our extensive range of kits and shirts in our huge store, and have a think about what you want from this football club, young man. You want football? How dare you? That's the feeling you get from them, isn't it?
This is what I actually don't understand, though. Surely, if we are to achieve bringing some, you know, have a trophy or something, surely that is going to bring in actually more revenue to the club. I would have thought more people are going to want to come and visit the stadium. More, you know, they're going to want to come and watch a football that is actually class. You know, where we're winning. That's what I don't understand, how Levy's mind works like that, because I would have thought if you're being a successful team, surely you are attracting more. That's what I don't understand.
No, it's spot on, because like you say, if you're new to the world of football, saying you're choosing your team, who are you going to pick? The team that may win against the big teams and then lose, but they're now midway down the table, or a team that are winning every week near the top and competing for trophies? And the only way you do that is through investment through players. I really don't know. It's a madness. And the thing is, we've still got more games coming up thick and fast, because obviously Christina, Thursday we have Hoffenheim, and then we go to Leicester. And my word, if we lose against Leicester, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Especially as it's at home as well. I weirdly don't know why I got a ticket for that game. Don't know if that's going to be Ange's last game that I'm going to see, but you know, who knows? I do. Yeah, I still think though, if we lose, I think he's still going to be there. Personally, it's like I keep saying, I just feel Levy is hiding behind Ange at the moment, and he wants to point the finger at him. He wants the fans to be pointing the finger at him, and I think that's what he's going to do. I don't know, especially all the cup games that we're in at the moment. You know, we've got Europa, we've got FA, we've got, you know, we're into the semi-finals of the Carabao. I just feel like it's going to be like if we do fire him, it's going to be another Mourinho situation again. We're going to call in like a last minute, like Ryan Mason again. I don't know. But for me, I think they're going to hold on to him until the end of the season, for me personally. I don't know I don't know what you think, Crackers. I feel like you're like, no, he's gone.
Far away, Crackers, gone.
I think he stays until the point that the revenue streams could be affected. That's, when they look at his key performance indicators, top of the shop, number one is our revenue, is our money being affected by this? Is his performance affecting our love of money? Is our dear lovely money being taken away from us? No. Okay, he carries on, and then everything else after that is literally just for the birds. They're much lesser things. Once their revenue is affected, he will go. It's as simple as that. I'm amazed he's clung on this long, to be honest, because Poch got sacked, Harry got sacked, everybody else has got sacked for being in better positions. So I don't know if it's a fact of, well, we can't keep sacking managers. Bravo. No, you can't. You really can't, because that clearly doesn't work. But if that is the case, no, we're going to stick with a manager for once and see this through. Okay, so 2 weeks left of the window. Where's them 3-4 more players that we so desperately need, even though January is a difficult window? It's not impossible. If you throw enough money at it, some of that lovely money that they seem to be in love with, throw some of that at it and give him half a chance. So, as my old East End nan used to say, Daniel Levy, shit or get off the pot. You do something. You have to do something. So, if he stays, then please back him. I can't say I'll be 100% happy, but at least let him go down in flames, having given him a few fire extinguishers to have a good go at putting himself out. I don't personally think he's got the chops for it myself, but at least give him every last opportunity. So I tell you this: if we lose to Leicester, wow. Never mind Thursday night in Germany, that game against Leicester. And you know what? I blame you kids and your social media, because back in my day, before all this internet nonsense, all we could do was actually go and rattle the gates and give the chairman a bit of a fright. We'd march onto the gates with burning torches and pitchforks and let him know we're there. Problem you've got now with social media is everybody goes home, picks up one of these things and goes, "Oh, Daniel Levy, I really don't like you." Send that'll tell him that. Yeah, that'll learn him. He's rhino hide. He doesn't. He don't see it. He just does not see it. And even if he does see it, he'll go, "Oh, okay." Anyway, back to business. So, but if you get on the streets and start rattling gates, watch the changes you can get. When somebody's got somebody in front of them telling them what they think of them, different ball game. Very, very different ball game. So, yeah. Come on, kids, rise up.
I think that's the thing, because obviously there's been protests before. I think I went to the Super League one. I couldn't make it to the next one, but I think that's the thing, Christina, because we are the digital age, and Crackers is right to an extent. But for you, is it now time that we all need to band together? We need to be outside the stadium saying our things, or inside the stadium walking out, leaving our seats. But again, it comes down to the fact is fans pay a lot of money to go watch a game. Do I want to leave my seat because I've paid 60, 70, 80, 90 quid? Like, it's a very tough thing to kind of call.
And that's what it is, because it's so bloody expensive now. We're too afraid to even do that. That's the thing. But I really appreciate, like, the protests. I feel for the people that actually organise it. But for me personally, I don't think protests do that much. I think it needs to be a stronger way of action. Like you guys said, either give up your ticket, and I mean giving up your ticket to actually not sell it to anybody so that they go. It's literally just boycotting the whole thing. And not even that, it's even with, the food and drink that goes on in the stadium, like, don't buy anything. I think it's something like that we need to do, which is just so difficult to do these days now. Like, you know, there's people that come into their first game, like kids. There's people that come all the way from flown in, you know, and it's like a huge experience for them. So it's really difficult to stop people from doing that now, because that's what he's done. He's built a tourist attraction. This was his plan all along, you know. He's put us into this difficult situation now. So I don't really know what the answer to that is. If like how to get a reaction, I really don't know. I think the chants are really good, to be honest. The whole, you know, the Kulusevski one, I think it's brilliant. But I don't know what is going to work now. It's just so difficult because of the situation we're all now in. I mean, I paid
anything
60 quid.
that hits him financially, Christina. That's
no
his Achilles heel. That's his kryptonite.
No one else can do it.
No, it's you look. We've had protest, or the organising of protest, where the original organisers were not too sort of PR kind and gentle, wasn't they? You know, it was like, get out on the streets and protest, and if you don't, it's your fault. Was the vibe, and people were like, I'm not having you telling me that. And 2 men and a dog turned up, basically, you know. Then
blame the dog.
but then the protest call to arms softened a little, and it became a little bit more touchy-feely and a little bit more Me Too. And it was like, okay, look, if you don't feel like you want to protest, that's fine. You know, if you're happy with things, we're fine with that. However, if you're not happy with things, come and protest. If protesting is not for you, maybe consider going and buying a couple of pints in the Bill Nick or the Bricky, and don't give him your money. Any little thing that you can do to sort of show your disgust, whatever level you're at with it, please do that. And that sort of garnered, you know, a bit of traction. But again, it's small. It needs to be a lot bigger. You know, if you've got a bigger protest outside and then people going in and going, no, I'm not going to buy a couple of pints today, and, you know, and a pie, and I'm not going to buy that program, and just build it from there, you might start getting somewhere. Because even on Sunday, God forbid we lose to Leicester, come Monday morning when they have their teams meeting, you know, I've said this before, Daniel Levy will go, okay, East Stand manager, how much did we make yesterday on pies and pints? Okay, we made, I don't know, £57,000. Okay, is that up or down? No, it's slightly down, but it's not too bad. Okay. What about you, West Stand? Oh, you know, £200,000 in corporate prawn sandwiches, and about the same as normal. Excellent. And then it would get to somebody who would go, terrible result against Leicester yesterday. What? Leicester, the result? What do you mean? The football result? Oh, yes, yeah, terrible. Oh, yeah, well, awful. Right, South Stand, how much did you sell in burgers and pies and pints? This is what it is. This is exactly where they are with it, you know. But the moment you start affecting those bottom lines, the balance sheets and not the team sheets, then you'll get somewhere with these people. You absolutely will get somewhere.
But definitely, again, it just goes back to it's us fans that are going to be the ones that get it again, because again, we'll be buying that ticket, not reselling that ticket, and would have lost X amount of money. But then again, it's if we want them out, that's what we have to prepare to do. But it's us Spurs, it's us fans that will lose out again, effectively. And it's not a very nice place to be in, and sadly, this is what it's come to. But again, there's 2 more games to go till the weekend. It is Blue Monday. I am now hopefully detoxed a little bit. I hope you guys are as well. But we'll go around the table and say our goodbyes. So Crackers, thank you again for coming on the show. Thank you again for the therapy session. I think we all kind of needed it. But where can everybody find you doing your thing?
At Mr. Cracknell across the socials. I'm still on X. I'm still clinging on to old Space Karen rocket lunatics platform. I think I joined Blue Sky and just said hello, and that was about it. Not really much on Facebook, a little bit on Insta, pretending to live a life I don't live, like everybody else on there. And of course on Mumsnet, I'm on there as Karen McPhee, a housewife from Cleethorpes. Come and find me on there as well.
You think he's joking? That's the thing.
I don't know what to think anymore with Crackers.
I'm wearing a lovely Laura Ashley print maxi dress in my latest post. I put some pictures up and with a lovely kitten hill. Beautiful.
He knows the words. That's what
Oh my days. For that, I'm going to leave that there with Crackers. Make sure you go follow me.
Hair up or hair down with that, Christina?
Hair down, just like the Football Content Awards. You know how I showed you.
Thank you.
Oh dear.
God bless you all. Thank you for the invite on, Hollie. Come on, you Spurs.
No, thank you, Crackers. Appreciate it. And Christina as well. Thank you again for coming on. Where can everybody find you doing your thing too?
X. That's where I am. Moaning, ranting, whatever it is, however I feel. But yeah, I'm on there, so give us a follow. And yeah, happy to discuss with everything that's going on at Tottenham right now. And yeah, I'm on Instagram as well, but I don't really think anyone wants to follow me on there. But yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Lovely stuff. And like I say, thank you to everybody that's tuned in tonight that's going to rewatch this one, listen it on the audio. Like I say, I thought the days of a therapy session was gone on this show, but it's decided to come back again. But you know what? I think we all need it sometimes.
Hollie, we'll be here 2 years later.
Just very quickly, as we record this, it's Monday the 20th of January. It's 8:30 in the evening. We have but 3.5 hours to go before we've had just one normal day at Tottenham. If this next 3.5 hours, if nobody's legs fall off or, you know, the stadium collapses, we have actually had a normal day where nothing happened at Tottenham. But stick around. Like I said, 3.5 hours to go.
Oh, you've definitely jinxed it now, Crackers. They're going to put an announcement out that Richarlison's legs fallen off because, you know, he got injured at the weekend probably after that goal. But yeah, like I say, hopefully we've had a normal day, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But like we always say, obviously Hollie Hotspurs love you. Back next Monday. Hopefully we're discussing the win because I can't hack another loss. But until next time, go on you Spurs.